Hey everyone, it's your girl Alfia. I am super excited to be recording this on my new microphone, and I currently just bought it from Walmart, and I just got it this past Wednesday, and I'm just now recording. But I know you guys have missed me, and I have missed you guys too, and I'm so glad that I have my subscribers. I got a lot of stuff coming up this year for you guys, and I am ready to unpack. So let's talk about family business, New Orleans. Where do we begin? Okay, I did 3, 4, and 5, so I'm doing episodes 6 and 7. We are one episode away from this season finale. There will be 8 episodes this season. I was holding off, but somebody else had confirmed it, but I had actually found out from IMDb when the series first premiered, before it premiered. So let's unpack. So on episode 6, of course, on episode 5, Mr. John LaBlanca got arrested. We also found out that John LaBlanca's wife, Marie, has been sleeping with, enemy? No, she's been sleeping with Curtis. So she met Curtis at the masquerade, of course. You know how her husband had left and she ended up kissing Curtis because she's like, she's more of a feeler instead of a seer or whatever. So, okay, y'all. How do we begin? How is Miss Marie LaBlanca? She is living the life as John LaBlanca's wife, but she's lonely, and her rose is not satisfying her. So she found comfort in Mr. Curtis Duncan, Larry's oldest son's arms. So, and of course, his little sister, Lauren, is currently courting Prince, who is Saint, that we learn in episode 7 tried to take out Marquise Duncan, which is Lauren's cousin, because Big Shirley is her aunt by marriage. Y'all, episode 7, let's just go ahead and say it. I was happy that Larry showed up. And I'm going to go ahead and say I'm a big fan of Larry. I like Larry because he is hilarious. He has that laugh. But we're going to get back on episode 6. All right, let's talk about episode 6. How do we unpack everything that happened? Let's think. Okay. John LaBlanca gets arrested in episode 5. In episode 6, he gets a court hearing. And he gets out of jail. His lawyer gets him out of jail. But before everything happens and they're in front of the judge, one of the lawyers is trying to, basically keep him locked down. But it doesn't happen. And his lawyer also tells him that he has a lady there to see him, which is Monique. And she said, you might want to stop by the Blues tomorrow because we got something to tell you. Let's see. Prince went to John and he told him about Antoinette, who is Saint's wife. Now, if y'all don't know, Saint's wife actually was a dancer, and not just any dancer. She was an exotic dancer before, but it doesn't really go into details. I'm pretty sure the book does, because of course, Saint unalived somebody in one of the episodes, and at a strip club, because a guy had, said whatever happened to that one girl, and Prince was trying to tell him like, hey, knock it off, because like, hey, he was like, well, I married her, whatever. And then Saint goes on a pew pew with his gun, and of course unalives him. Now, Saint is a hothead. And I know this is about Saint. Saint is a very hot-headed person. John LaBlanca is more like we can see calm. Of course, that shout out to David Banner. I know, of course, some people know David Banner for his music. And I know a lot of people are saying, oh, I didn't know who he was. Now, how you didn't know that song by David Banner called Play? Now, I'm going to say viewer discretion is advised because that song is very explicit. And when I was younger, when I first saw the video, I was like, and then I heard the song on the radio. Well, not the song. I heard the song, the real song, years and years later. I'm like, that song don't match that. It don't match, but they can't do that in the video. But anyway, cool. I've known about David Banner since I was a little girl. So yeah, and I'm 31, so I'll be 32 this year. So back to what I was saying. Prince tells John about Antoinette. Because remember on the last episode, episode 5, they find out about Marquise and Antoinette. Because Antoinette's been sleeping with Marquise since the first beginning of the episode. Because remember, Big Shirley found out about them. And he was like, well, I'm keep this as leverage. Because y'all know that John is as any means necessary to get the blue. So he calls his wife. He tells his wife because she ends up coming home. He's like, I got a surprise for her. He gave her a ring or whatever because, she's feeling neglected, but she had already slept with Curtis. And, you know, she told her sister Raven to cover for her or whatever. Because when she came home on episode 6, her stepdaughter was like, my dad's not here. He's in jail. What you mean your father's in jail? And it's just crazy because I think the daughter, she suspects something. She does. And it's like she told her dad in episode 6, Daddy, you have me. Well, Daddy has needs. And why would you say, Daddy, you got me? But I know she didn't mean it that way. So let me take that into context. What I mean is, I understand that kids try to be there for their parents, but still, parents still need other comforts. So I know they try to be there like, I'm here, you don't need to date nobody, you see it in the movies or whatever. But I think that Marie LeBlanc's stepdaughter has found out about something's going on. And when John finds out that she's been sleeping with Curtis, I wonder what's going to happen. Because, you know, on episode 7, he ends up getting 10% of the blues because he, like he said in previous episodes, he wants the blue. He's going after the blue. He told, I think, Saint about it. Because remember, the reason why he started going after the family was because Skunk came and told him about his brother being unalived. Well, he didn't know anything about him, you know, what happened specifically. He had bits and pieces. I ever heard somebody know bits and pieces of the story, but have some of the story right, but then some of the stuff they try to add on, yeah, it wasn't working for him. So Skunk gets taken out of town. We don't know if he's unalived or what. He may even be Big Shirley has a big heart, we can tell. But I feel like she may have not unalived Skunk, and I think that may come back to haunt them. And I think they had what's his name, Nevada, do that tampering he did with the video, because yeah, you see your brother leaving the club. No, your brother unalived himself at the club. But like somebody said, been saying in these groups, they think that Saint unalived Pierre. Because we learned in episode 6 that he went to go see Sebastian in Miami, and he was like, I should have ratted you out then, Sebastian said. I'm surprised Sebastian didn't tell anything. He wasn't telling all the tea, because he was like, you know, you told me that, you know, Pierre was like your right hand, like you was Pierre's right hand man or something. So basically Saint is snake in the grass, so it would give him leverage to off Pierre, because if he knocks off Pierre, all he has to do is knock off John, and then he can try to take over, but he's too hot-headed, just like his brother. Prince is, you know, he's trying to fit into like the bad boy kind of type, but he's done met Lauren, and I'm going to go ahead and say I'm kind of sad that it's probably not going to work out, because, you know, Lauren, who her family is, she's a Duncan, and he's Saint's little brother, and I'm going to go ahead and say it. Something I could tell was going to happen bad, probably to Prince. And if it doesn't, I'll be shocked. But I will say this, it's going to be war. And of course, Larry has already taken over on episode 7. As you see, he has unalived people, because how you sitting at the restaurant talking about get Marquise and get his green-eyed cousin, Saint said, you have your little minions doing your dirty work. And I'm like, I always tell people, you don't talk around people because you do not know who knows who. And they're just sitting there, and Larry just calm. You don't know. Let me tell you something. Like people say, you need to do your research. Saint don't do his research. Little hothead mother sucker right there. Because how you don't do your research? You don't even know anything about the Duncans. The Duncans are very powerful. But like I said, in my opinion, Larry is, because Larry's a more powerful one. Because I'm gonna tell you why. He crazy. I never see him coming. Heck, they didn't even see it coming. I'm just looking like, y'all didn't read the room. So when I'm talking around people, I'm not the only one that looks around and checks my surroundings. Like when I'm talking, like sitting down at a restaurant, I'm looking at everything. I may not check my surroundings when like out, like and about, like other places, but I check my surroundings when I'm at a restaurant, which is kind of weird, because you're like, why don't you take your surroundings when you're other places? But either way, y'all, it's about to go down. He came with his people, but I really want to know, my bigger question is, let's switch it to family business. What is Larry gonna do to Miss Scissorhand when he finds out she unalived Sasha Duncan? Now, of course, I've heard in the books that Sasha Duncan faked her death. I have never read the book, so I'm gonna go ahead and say it. Please do not come for me in the comments. Oh, you can come anyway, I don't care. But like I said, you have your opinion, I have my opinion. But I heard that she faked her own death. So, of course, she does die in family business. But in the book, she does fake her death, and she's still alive. And she's somewhere in Mexico, I think. They said, I don't know. I heard about it a couple years ago, and somebody's like, yeah, it's true, whatever. Something about, you know, she faked her death. I don't know where she went to, but I think they said Mexico or something. I don't know. But anyway, I don't know. But I hope that Larry don't find out. Because if he finds out that little Miss Scissor Happy had help unaliving his niece, I would hate to be her. Let's go ahead and say it, because we know Larry's crazy and then his son is crazy. And I'm gonna go ahead and say all the kids is crazy, but I'm gonna say this because Lauren crazy too. Remember when she pulled out a gun on Junior's wife? Oh, that was crazy. Tell some, you know how to play with my family. I'm like, Lauren, baby, Lauren. But that was family business. Let's switch back to New Orleans. I'm really liking New Orleans. I really like it. One more episode left. I can't wait to season 2. And shout out to Carl Weber. If you haven't already, please check out his books. I have read his books, but I have not read The Family Business. I have 3 of the books, and I have one on audio that I need to start reading, because I want to start discussing, because I know it's so much in depth of it. Because in the book they went ahead and told that Junior was LC's child, but in the show they didn't tell him till like seasons later. But I would switch over to Family Business. I'm sorry, let me switch back over to New Orleans. But Marquise does break his mom's heart in this episode, in episode 7. I really did feel bad for Shirley. Shirley has worked hard to get the blues back, and she talks about it. She said from the Jameson family, because her grandfather, or her dad, I think it was her grandfather, that Marquise's granddaddy, I don't remember exactly, I gotta go back to watch the episode. She said, you know, he gambled it away, and she said it took her a lot to get that 20% back. I think it was 20%. And now that John has 10%, because at first he was saying 20. And, you know, Floyd was like, no, or whatever. So Floyd said 5, and he said 10 is my only offer I'll do. He was basically saying he wanted leverage. Like, he came in there, you know, he was coming to look at the video, and he was like, well, you know, they were trying to see him to the door, but he had another plan. And Floyd didn't know what was going on. He's like, I told you, like, you know, Floyd didn't know what the picture was, whatever, because he showed the picture to Shirley, and Shirley was so upset. Like, you could feel, like, I could feel, that's when you know you're acting. You can feel it. You can feel it for that person. I felt it for Shirley. And if you didn't know, the lady that plays Shirley played in Waiting to Exhale. And she played in a couple other movies. I remember her from Waiting to Exhale and a few other movies. But, phenomenal actress. I really felt bad for Miss Shirley. I wanted to shed a tear, because all her blood, sweat, and tears of trying to save and keep the blue in her family, she has to share with a man that she knows that wants 100% of her casino. The black, being a black owned, because she said it's been in their family for more than 150 years. Because remember, she said in episode 6 how they got it, because, or episode 5, she said, I can't remember, 5 or 6, she said how they got the blue. Because remember, Orlando, let's talk about Orlando. Was it Orlando? Gabriel, I'm sorry, Gabriel. She told Gabriel the blue was not for sale, and she told him how long they'd been in the family, and how her grandmother, her great-great-grandmother got it. Her great-great-grandmother was a beautiful woman, I'm guessing, because she had the heart of some, I think Caucasian man, and he ended up, when he passed, he gave it to Shirley's great-great-grandmother, and that's how she got the blue. And y'all, can you just imagine something that's been in your family for so long, and you done worked so hard for it, and it's just taking a piece of it away because that you had just got back not that long ago? I'd be pissed, and I know she has every right to be pissed at Marquise, because Marquise, you was thinking with your little head, not your big head, sorry, your little head. And I felt so bad for her at that moment. I felt bad for Marquise, because I know he didn't want to let his mom down, but you also had needs, but that was not the way to go about it. Not with Antoinette. Antoinette was married, and Antoinette was not even worth it. Now Antoinette has actually skipped town, so let me go back to what I was saying. Orlando gets the brakes beat off him in episode 6, and my guy Pooch Hall, Ding Dong Derwin Davis, came through with them hands. Maybe when he did Trey Wiggs, and when Trey Wiggs, if y'all remember watching Derwin Davis on The Game, yeah, I'm going everywhere, but just stick with me. When he punched Trey Wiggs, because if y'all don't remember, Melanie became pregnant, and it wasn't Derwin's child at the time, because they had to break up, because he had slept with Julie Sadora, and she ended up getting with Trey. It wasn't like that. It was like it was like, okay, I was vulnerable and you were there, and our bodies collided, and she got pregnant. But we didn't learn till years and seasons later that she had got pregnant by Trey Wiggs, because he's like, Melanie, the abortion you had, was it mine? And yeah, and that caused her to not conceive at the time, but she ended up conceiving later on. But and then him and Jerome started fighting in the bathroom, Derwin. I said he used them same moves that he used on the game on Gabriel. It was funny. And because he came to the club and Big Shirley told Monique to go get what she said, she go get the other guy. She went and got Floyd. And Floyd was sick of him stalking his sister. And we also learned in episode 7 that he gets a restraining order. He was like, you know who I am? Do you know who I am? Who is Gabriel? Because I want to know. Because Gabriel is hiding something. Because, okay, we learned that Gabriel was actually intimate with Big Shirley years and years ago. Because Miss Shirley was a madam, basically. Like, she also sold herself, too. And she and Gabriel had a moment, and she was his first, and he was like, it shows a flashback. She was like, what brought you in to see Big Shirley today? And she was like, he's like, this is my birthday or whatever, and this is my first time. She was like, first time paying for it? And he was like, no, my first time ever. She was like, I'm gonna make it magical or whatever. And after they had it, he was like, well, I think I'm in love. She said, it'll wear off or whatever. Just leave my money on the table, whatever. But he came back and he was offering to sleep with her and pay for it. And she was not fooling it because she didn't want it. And he wouldn't take no for answer. But of course, Floyd shows up in episode 6 and beats the brakes off of him. He's like, I'm suing you. She's like, no, why? Why we have to do that? You say you wanted to go out to dinner for your birthday. And her and Monique's like, yeah. They convinced him, and then they got that little dumb, what do you say, dumb A. And he thinks he's going on a date with Miss Shirley. He pulls up to her house with flowers, but you kept stalking her. You didn't even call her. You said, I'm going to pick you up tomorrow at 8, but you didn't even call. You should have got my number. You just pulled up at her house. And of course, the sheriff comes to town. The sheriff also arrests Saint in episode 7 for the murder of the guy that he unalived for saying his wife was a use a hoe. Yeah, I had to say it. But yes, and they had witnesses. And I think that's when Marquise went to go talk to her about episode 7. Of course, the sheriff has a crush on Marquise because her and Marquise went to jail. So she's a young sheriff, because how old is Marquise? That's my question. Okay, so I want to know, like somebody said in the group, did Lauren hear her daddy on the phone? Because her daddy was saying, y'all know how Larry be laughing. He be cracking me up. I love me some Larry. Like, the actor, if you don't know the actor, he played on a few other movies, and he's been acting for a while. And shout out to him. I'm not familiar with his name, so I know y'all probably like, when she gonna say the name, but shout out to the guy that plays Larry. He's doing good. I've known it because he played in one of my favorite movies, Fried Green Tomatoes. If you haven't already watched that, definitely. I don't know if it's currently streaming anywhere, but I own the movie. Now, I bought it at Walmart a couple weeks ago. But you guys, that's all I have for today for the Family Business of New Orleans. Thank you guys so much for tuning in with us today, and that is a wrap. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. You don't miss any of my updates. Thank you.